Hey guys, welcome back to another edition of Giving It All Away. My name's Rick Gregson, and well, I'm here to give it all away. Of course, on this channel, we talk about life hacks, life experience, entrepreneurship, and wealth building. But I tend to start these videos with observations from recent things that made the news. One thing I wanted to mention was the Bitcoin conference that happened down in Miami in early April. I think it was called Bitcoin 2022. And Wired put out an article basically speaking to the toxicity and misogyny at the event and an overall harassment of women by some of the folks that attended. And this kind of plays into the conversation today because I would identify these types of people as weak men. Congrats to them for making my notice. Okay, and then also I wanted to truly actually say congrats and give recognition to something. Um, After the massacre at the Tops store in Buffalo, New York on 514, um, the Buffalo Bills, the Buffalo Sabres, the Buffalo Bandits all came together and visited the neighborhood. They took time, they served the community quite literally. They were out there serving food by the photos that I've seen and engaging with that community. They were wearing the coolest t shirts that said, Choose love, love it. And they actually donated about $400,000 back into that community to do some good. In my opinion, these are an example of strong men, and that's more of what the world needs. So actually, today's topic is a quote from Michael Hopf, and you've probably heard it. It begins with, "Hard times creates strong men." So these topics, this and the others that I speak about, are near and dear to my heart, and I hope you find these videos useful or at least entertaining. Also, I'd like to spark interest and inspire some candid conversations. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and also hit the notify button to be alerted as we release new content. All right, with that in mind, let's get into it. So, have you ever heard the quote in videos or maybe seen it in writings? Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. Again, this is something that was written by Michael Hopf for a fictional character in his book, Those Who Remain, a post-apocalyptic novel. Um, so, with that statement, do you agree with the cycle? And is that an accurate representation? Also, where are we at in that cycle today? This was proposed as an undisputable truth put forward by a character in that novel, and it's been referenced in at least a few videos that I've watched. Given the state of the world today, I see it as relevant, and that's why I wanted to bring it up for discussion. So, would you agree? Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. So, who are the strong people? I guess that's the first thing I'm trying to figure out. Is this the ruling class? Is it our elite? Um, who are the strong? Are our leaders the strong people? I, Given the years that I've been paying attention to it, I'm not sure that I can buy that. Are the minority groups the strong? And in this case, when I talk about the minority groups, uh, let's take out ethnic and gender minorities from this context, uh, but more like the minorities in radical thought. Are they becoming strong? Are they strong? Um, and what are the qualities of strength? What are we looking for? Can we be strong on our own, or do we need to be strong as a group? And does a person's strength give them a right to diminish others? Obviously, there's been a lot on my mind with these questions that kind of linger. Without a doubt, we're in hard times, right? I don't think the nation has been more divided since the Civil War, and that was by all means a misnomer by any stretch. It was not civil. And these days, we're not always either. You know, we claim a moral or intellectual high ground, but our acts don't always show it. And this pretty much speaks to integrity. When your claims and your actions don't stack up, that's integrity, or that's lack of integrity. Um, I guess I'm seeing the world today as almost a powder keg. You know, we're just one spark away from chaos. So, what I'm curious, I guess additionally, what I'm curious about, again, maybe I think too much. Are we the weak folks who are creating the hard times? Is this our fault? If it's not our fault, what are we doing about it? Are we the strong folks maybe being forged through the hard times? Clearly, you've got some mix going on here, right? And I'm wondering if both factions, the weak and the strong, are required to play roles that actually create the hard times, or the hard times that we come through, right? So I don't know how will history judge us, and where will you stand? Where will I stand? Okay, that's a lot of questions. Let me try and unpack some of this, at least for myself. Um, I believe the statement, the cycle that's observed: hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. I believe this applies to everyone equally. It's got no true bearing or reference to color, gender, or orientation, right? So, how do you see yourself? Maybe in terms of different dimensions here. Are you conservative or liberal? Are you educated or ignorant? I'm ignorant, sign me up. Are you moral or immoral? And also, are you relevant or out of touch? And I think that is a big problem in our leadership today. Um, Out of touch. And I'm not 100% sure about morality. And I think we've been throwing labels at too many damn things. But this is, these are some of the conundrums that I see us in. And to be honest with you, we're each the sum of our own individual ideologies and biases. So that's how you see yourself. Now, the world has become very complicated with so much infighting, and true leaders are few. There's just way too many zealots out there, and what we need, but what I see us lacking, is some intelligence with the way we go about things, some sanity. Sanity has been out the door for a bit. Compassion, integrity, and some sort of a moral or ethical compass. So, too many people in leadership today, I feel, lack those qualifications. Um, and again, everybody is the sum of their own individual and ideological biases. Um, but where are you going to fall with everything? What are you going to align behind? So, leadership doesn't stop at the government or corporate levels. Um, it begins and ends with you. In our democracy, it comes down to your voice, your right to vote. Um, Everybody, you have a need to tune in to what's going on in the world around you, and that's on a micro scale. That's your neighborhood, that's your city, but that also goes to a macro scale, right? Because we're a big planet, and if we don't give a damn about one another, we are screwed. Um, you also Everybody has a responsibility to one another to be a decent human. Lend a hand, for God's sake. Just reach out. Um, Also, it's your duty to yourself and to society to develop discernment. Um, I don't know where anybody falls in terms of religion on this channel, but if you're Christian, that means testing and developing good judgment. It's an imperative. It's biblical, man. If you're not a Christian, it's still imperative. You're here to show up and make a difference now in your life and for everyone else. Um, so, for each of us, I would encourage you to take a moment and try to start thinking about your true north. We spend so damn much time with distractions, television, just all sorts of crazy stuff that we just bury our heads. We try and avoid um, deep thought or what's going on around us sometimes. Or sometimes we get so wound up in what's going on around us, we avoid ourselves. So, what ideals are true and most important for you, right? As you can identify those, you can work to aspire to your highest self. And look for what drives you, because these things are all important. Um, Back to the cycle, unlike so many things in life, this notion that Mr. Hopf put forth, I know it's fictional, but it rings true. Um, and if it's correct, of course, it'll have to play out. Um, where will you stand? We hope you enjoyed today's video, and really, we hope it makes you think. And if it did, good. That was the intention. Be sure to write strong in the comments below. Also, be sure to connect with us here on Medium, LinkedIn, and Twitter as we grow this tribe. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll talk again soon.